All right. Happy Thursday, guys. Hope you're all doing well out there and are ready for this video because let me tell you, we have a lot to cover. We're going to talk about, obviously, the stock market, which is red right now. We have two companies to break down that just reported earnings. And I want to go over Trump, Jerome Powell, what Trump tweeted, or I guess what he sent on Truth Social this morning, whatever you want to call that. Yeah, jam-packed video, man. We have a lot to cover. Hit the like button. Do not forget to subscribe. Follow along for more content. And with that being said, cheers. Let's dive into it. So it's about 11 a.m. on the East Coast right now, and we have every index, some more than others, but every index right now is down. We have the Russell down a whopping 0.1%, not too bad there. QQQ's down about 0.3, 0.4%. The S&P is pretty much at break even, slightly in the red, and the Dow is where we're seeing all of the red today for the most part. It is down over 1.5% after we got earnings from UNH this morning, United Health Group, and their stock is collapsing. We'll talk about that in a little bit here, but yeah, we're down across the board right now, folks, and the VIX is also down, so it's not like we're seeing a crazy day for the VIX or the metals for that matter. We have gold and silver down as well, so not too bad of a day, but obviously the markets are still very shaky at this point. SPY is still in a downtrend on the 1-hour chart, same with QQQ and all these indexes for that matter, right? So no obvious breakout or any signs of a breakout. And again, it looks like maybe more downside could be in store based on what I'm seeing here on the 4-hour chart. We're getting hit at the 180 SMA on QQQ and on SPY. So we're obviously in a downtrend. The trade war is escalating. Tariffs, I think now on certain Chinese goods are 245%, something nuts. And guess what? Trump wants Powell to cut rates, as if we didn't already know that, but he's putting even more pressure on Powell right now. Let me actually pull this up and show you. This is straight from Donald Trump this morning on Truth Social. I believe he sent this out at 6 a.m., something like that. So, I mean, does this guy sleep? He probably sleeps like 4 hours a night. Either way, whatever. Donald Trump said the ECB is expected to cut rates, interest rates, for the 7th time. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but the ECB is cutting rates still. And yet, Trump says, and yet, too late, Jerome Powell. He calls him too late. You guys see here the quote. So he's calling Powell too late. He said, ECB is expected to cut interest rates for the 7th time, and yet, too late, Jerome Powell of the Fed, who is always too late and wrong, yesterday issued a report which was another and typical complete mess, which you guys saw Powell yesterday. I think he was speaking in Chicago somewhere. He was talking about how he's worried about inflation, tariffs, blah, blah, blah. Tariffs are inflationary, which they are, right? And for the record, I think Jerome Powell has done a very good job. I mean, the Federal Reserve is supposed to be independent from the government, right? And he's not supposed to be in cahoots with Trump and be like, oh yeah, so Trump wants to cut rates, we're going to cut rates. It's not supposed to be like that. So that's good that he's sticking to his guns, Jerome Powell is, and Trump absolutely hates that. Trump wants everybody to just bow down to him, right, and do whatever he wants, do whatever he says, and Jerome Powell is just not doing that. So Trump here said the rest of this truth or tweet truth, whatever the heck you want to call it. Trump said oil prices are down, groceries, even eggs are down. I guess, aren't eggs still up? I thought eggs went up again. Now I guess they're coming down. Whatever. I get my eggs at Costco, so it's like they're always $7, $8 at Costco for like 2 dozen or 18. I don't even know how many come in that box, whatever. But he said oil prices are down, Groceries, even eggs are down, and the USA is getting rich on tariffs. Not yet. I mean, his plan is to get all manufacturing back in the U.S. I wouldn't say the U.S. is getting rich on tariffs right now. They're not. Maybe in 5 to 10 years, if this master plan works, which I don't think it will, but maybe in 5 to 10 years, sure, maybe the U.S. is reaping benefits of having all their manufacturing here, but the reality is the U.S. is not getting rich on tariffs right now. They're not. Inflation, the risk of that going higher, the risk of inflation going higher is here, right? We see that, and the economy is slowing down. If anything, the U.S. is slowing down now based on tariffs. We're kind of in that transition period of, okay, will manufacturing come back here? Will the tariffs fully go into effect, right? What kind of deal are we going to get between the U.S., China, all these other countries? So it's a little false that the U.S. is getting rich on tariffs right now. That's not the case. If anything, people are not spending as much money. The GDP is slowing down, right? We might go into a recession. So him saying the USA is getting rich on tariffs, that's a bunch of BS. Let's be honest, right? But I guess oil prices are coming down. Some other things are coming down. And he said he referred to him as too late again here in the next sentence. He said too late should have lowered interest rates like the ECB long ago, but he should certainly lower them now. Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. And this guy, Trump, is dogging Powell like he's some idiot moron that hasn't done a good job. I think Powell has done a great job. I've said this for years at this point. Inflation was super high. A couple of years ago, he's gotten inflation down, right? And the last thing Powell wants to do is have inflation, or the last thing he wants to see is inflation go back up like crazy again. And he's doing his job as the chairman of the Fed to keep that from happening, right? Which I commend him for that. I'm very happy Powell's doing that, because the last thing we want is Powell to cut rates now aggressively, and then we have tariffs on top of that, both of those being inflationary. Come on. We don't want inflation to go back up. Tariffs, it's already pushing inflation higher. It will long term, right? Maybe we're not seeing it quite yet. And then interest cuts, or inflation, or what am I saying? Rate cuts on top of that only makes it worse. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Trump is, I don't know why he wants rates to come down. I get it. He wants cheaper money. He wants the economy to boom, quote unquote, with cheaper money. We'll see. But I just think it's a bad idea for the Fed to cut rates, at least right now. And I'd love to know what you guys have to think about that. And before we talk about the stocks that I'm looking at, we have two to break down here. Make sure you guys subscribe to my second channel. It's linked down below. We're doing an 1,000 subscriber cash giveaway. We're at 802 subs right now, and we make content talking about debt, college, if it's a scam, is the American dream dead. We talk about the cost of living crisis, and it's kind of a reaction channel, personal finance reaction channel. I give my 2 cents as well. I'm not just a stock market guy, guys. I love personal finance as a whole. And the second channel, which again is linked down below, it's all about personal finance, money in general. And again, we talk about car payments, cost of living, the American dream, college, debt, blah, blah, blah. So make sure to subscribe, linked down below. Again, we're doing a cash giveaway at 1,000 subscribers, which that's coming sooner rather than later. So like I said, the Dow Jones is getting nailed right now, as we have UNH crashing. The stock's down 22%. On the day, down $135 per share. Complete and utter disaster for UNH. It looks like here They reported, let's see here, guys, earnings per share of $7.20 on an adjusted basis versus the $7.29 expected. So they missed on sales, or EPS, excuse me, and sales for that matter. Sales came in at $109.5 billion, under the $111.6 billion expected. So double miss for United Health Group, not ideal, and they cut their 2025 EPS view as well. So they're cutting guidance, not ideal at all, guys. And it looks like they might have cut their full year guidance for adjusted EPS, not ideal. So there you have it. That's pretty much it. Double miss, and they're cutting EPS. Not good at all. And this stock obviously is dragging down the Dow Jones. It's in the Dow Jones, and now it's approaching the lows from back in February. We hit about 430, 440 back in February. Now we're pretty much back there. So if you were wondering why is the Dow selling off, this is why. United Health Group is getting destroyed, and I'm not touching this thing with a 10-foot pole. Forget that, on a 100-foot pole. I'm not getting anywhere near United Health Group. And TSM is another one that reported earnings, and the stock is slightly green, pretty flat. Not bad actually, considering this market environment that we're in. So Taiwan Semiconductor reported earnings per share. Let's see if I can find it here, guys. EPS of $2.12 versus $1.82 expected on sales of $25.5 billion versus $23.92 billion expected. So double beat for TSM, and it looks like here they expect Q2 revenue of $28.5 to $29.2 billion versus $26.79 billion expected, and gross margin of 57 to 59%. Not bad. So a double beat for Taiwan Semiconductor, and a nice, Q2 guidance there on revenue and gross margin for that matter. And let's see, anything else we have? Taiwan Semiconductor says tariffs haven't changed customer behavior as profit booms 60%. That's good to hear. We'll see if that changes moving forward, how that will change over the coming quarters here with the tariffs in place. But yeah, not bad. TSM popped actually when the earnings came out to about 160. So we were up a good chunk initially, about 5%. Again, now we're down from that point, but we're still up 1% on the day. Not bad for TSM, man. And this is a stock that, if I didn't have a lot of semiconductor exposure already, and if the trade war wasn't really escalating, this is a stock I would consider buying. But for now, I'm kind of sitting on my hands and waiting things out with TSM. But overall, guys, that's pretty much it. A breakdown on what Trump said about Powell, 2 earnings reports, and a quick glance at the market, which now is actually going green. The S&P's up 0.5%. Same with the Russell almost. QQQ's up almost 0.25%. And the Dow was down 1.5% earlier in this video. Now it's down 1.1%. So we're making up some ground. Not bad, not too shabby, guys. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel and my second channel linked down below, and join the free email newsletter where I send out my top stocks weekly right to your inbox. That is linked down below. Put your first name and your email address, and boom, you're in there. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you all in the next video.